Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another day in the Bitcoin and cryptoverse. Today I have a very important update for y'all. I have been pretty bullish for December, and to be completely transparent, I am looking at some new data on the astrology as I've looked closer, as I've zoomed out, and I am noticing some important things that I should share with you. We're potentially seeing a Bitcoin slowdown in Mercury Retrograde, potentially on December 13th. And potentially we also have Neptune direct on December 6th, which could be a bit bearish. Now, this is not financial advice, and I will give the Bitcoin predictions at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. So I am making new discoveries here as I look more closely. We'll take a look at the Mercury retrograde. Let me share this with you here. I'll take a look at this fancy astrology software here. And so take a look at Mercury here, opposite Earth. Just to kind of show you what Mercury retrograde is, take a look. From the point of view opposite the Earth, I'm going to start moving forward here. Mercury is going to the right now. But when we hit Mercury retrograde, it's going to start to go opposite the Earth. Now it's starting to go left. You see that? So we call that Mercury retrograde. Now you can't? Okay, there it is again. So Mercury is still going left if you are sitting on the Earth looking at Mercury. And then when we're done with Mercury retrograde, it starts going to the right again because it's going in a circle. So hopefully that makes sense. But now that Mercury is direct here, it's going back to the right. And we call that when Mercury goes direct. So that's a pretty simple way of looking at it. I hope that makes sense. Let's close that. Now we will go look at the astrology here. And if we take a look at Mercury right here, this is when it goes retrograde. But take a look at Mercury here. It's going to be direct from November 30th today, and it's going forward. And then when the 0.7, when that number goes up, it's going to turn red. That's when it goes Mercury retrograde around December 13th. And it is in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about hard lessons in reality, rules and regulations, but also planning, preparing. So this will be a good time to kind of reflect on your plans for the future, preparing your crypto strategy. All right, and you could do that in a session with me one-on-one if you need support with coming up with a really solid crypto strategy so you can profit during this next year versus the opposite of that. There's looking at your portfolio going down like you probably did in 2022 last year. All right, so it's going to retrograde in Capricorn. It's going to go all the way back into the sign of Sagittarius. As you can see, it switches signs here. Now, what does this mean for crypto? What does it all mean? All right, let's go into the details on that. So typically, Mercury retrograde, I have done a deep dive analysis. I don't know who else has done this on the planet. But every time Mercury retrogrades, we typically see a dump in the Bitcoin chart. Now, typically, and actually I've done a detailed analysis, it's about 75% of the time Bitcoin dumps or consolidates when Mercury is retrograde. But then 25% of the time, Mercury retrograde can also pump. It can also be bullish. So, what is that? 75% chance dump, 25% chance pump. The last time we had Mercury retrograde in Capricorn in the same sign was December 29th, 2022. Let's take a look at what happened back then. So that was back around here. We could zoom in. That was when we were really bottoming out here. Now this was actually a rare Mercury retrograde. This was actually a bullish Mercury retrograde. So we got in retrograde around here, and we stayed in retrograde most of January, and we actually pumped hard. But this was the very start of the bull market, so it really depends on what scenario you are in the market. But then the last time we had Mercury retrograde, not necessarily in Capricorn, that was back in August, around August 23rd, I believe. And we did see this massive dump, and the market was consolidating. So we did get a consolidation there, which happened 75% of the time. And then I also went back into the history books and found out, let's see, the last time Mercury retrograded in Capricorn was in December 19th, 2016. We're going to have to go way back here. Let me go and find this. So if you look over here, December 19th. So right here, and we saw the markets pump a little bit and then dump. So that's interesting. So could we see something like that? Again, could we see a little pump and then a dump? That's definitely possible. We are already, take a look at how many weeks we have been in the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in the green. We haven't done that in a long time, since the bull run pretty much. I mean, this is very bullish, but let's see, even back in 2021, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens in a row. And here we got 1, 2, 3. I mean, we haven't had 7 green candles in a row in a very long time. So I have been selling some crypto, not financial advice, but you know, I'm just smelling like we could have a correction here at some point. And especially since we're heading into in December, we're getting Mercury retrograde. And I'm also going to talk about Neptune stationing direct on December 6th, which is important to talk about. You know, I'm preparing for a correction. Now, I'm not sure how far of a correction, but that's just what I'm thinking. Now, we also have Neptune stationing direct on December 6th. And I don't know anyone else who has done this, but I've made all these lines here. You see these vertical lines. This is every time in the history books. No one else has done this, I believe, on the planet. Every time Neptune stations direct, what happened to Bitcoin? Well, actually, this is when Neptune stations direct or retrogrades. And typically, as you can see here, we see some consolidation. All right, so even the last time it happened here on July 3rd, the markets pumped and then they just kind of consolidated and fell off a bit. Here they consolidated, here consolidation, here they dumped, here's they consolidated. Here they in the bull run even, they consolidated here for a few weeks before it continued up. Here consolidation, consolidation here. Consolidation here, it hit that last pump and then it just stopped and consolidated. Here we saw a big dump in 2018. So it's pretty bearish for the most part. We see it consolidate or dump or hit a peak and then start to fall off again. All right, so we're seeing Neptune go direct on December 6th. So I'm thinking we could see something like this, because right now, you know, this back in June 2016, we have Neptune switch, and markets were pumping right then, but then they dumped and they fell off before they consolidated and headed back up. So could we be heading into a scenario similar to that? I'm thinking that could be possible. Now I'm sounding pretty bearish, even though I was originally fairly bullish for December. And you know, I'm human. I'm not like I'm not perfect all the time. So I want to be completely transparent that this is what I'm thinking. You know, we could fall off or consolidate for a bit before we head back up. So I hope that makes sense. What else do I have to say here? The good news, I do have good news, is that we have positive aspects for Mercury retrograde. Mercury is sextile to Venus, which is positive on December 13th. Mercury retrograde is also trine Jupiter on December 13th. So very positive aspects, which is good news. And then Neptune is square the Sun in Sag on December 17th. That's a little bearish. And then Mercury is conjunct Mars on December 28th. That could be a little bit negative. But overall, since Mercury retrograde gets positive aspects exactly on the day it goes retrograde on December 13th, that's pretty positive. So perhaps we might just consolidate. Perhaps we might not go down too much. But I am preparing for the worst. I'm a bit cautious. I'm a bit on the cautious side. I'm not super high risk. So I am preparing for some sort of a correction, which we could even get around December 6th when Neptune stations direct. All right, so now for the predictions for the end of this video. It's tough to predict this, guys. This is not an easy prediction here. December could be a bit of a mixed bag. But since historically Mercury retrograde is 75% bearish, I'm just going to go with the statistics. So there's a 75% chance approximately Bitcoin could dump lower below 37K towards the mid to low 30s, and a 25% chance that Bitcoin could pump to around 42K in December. So that's what I got. That's what I'm thinking. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you think that Bitcoin is going to dump to the mid 30s or low 30s, if you think we're going to see that correction in December, let me know in the comments below. And if you think it's heading up to the 40s in December, type that in the comments as well. Let's get the community votes going on this one. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more epic Bitcoin astrology videos like this. My history, I have been 90% accurate so far this year. Take a look at my past videos to see the proof of that. The proof is in the pudding. All right, and what else? So definitely like this video and share it with someone who could benefit from this information. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Looking forward to it. Hope you're having a great rest of your evening or day.